Williams, and this is another episode of Fuck You, Pay Me. I am here with one of my really good friends, Sed, and we are going to talk about her money journey, her negotiation experiences, and how we can continue leveling up when we're trying to build wealth. So, thank you, Sed, for being here.
Thank you. When you said level, I just wanted to go level up, level up, level up, level up.
Shout out to Sierra. That's where we are. And that already tells you she is a DJ,
Yes.
lives in music. Music is her world. It's in her head.
So true.
Every phrase that she hears, it's all about a lyric to a song, I'm sure.
Exactly.
But I'm going to have Sed to introduce herself because she is multifaceted, multi-talented, and I want you to hear it straight from her.
Thank you.
So tell us about yourself a little bit.
Thank you for having me first. I really appreciate being on the show today with you. I'm Sed Joseph. I am a DJ. I'm also known as DJ Sed The Saint. And I'm the founder of Stage Wing, which is a platform where event professionals, DJs, musicians, event planners, and organizers can easily find equipment anywhere in the U.S. at the moment, hopefully in the world and in the future as well, too. So we're a platform that just connects those who have the equipment with those who need it. A lot easier.
Yes, and the fact that you have had a 20-year journey for your DJ career.
Yes.
And I just want to tell the folks out there, our Sed and I went to Agnes Scott College.
Yes.
Shout out to Agnes Scott.
Shout out to the Scotties.
So we've known each other for a really long time.
Yes.
So tell us, my first question is just about the career as a DJ. Tell me about how you first started into it and then how you transitioned to it full time.
Okay. Well, I actually started DJing on campus. Like, that was my very first gig. While I was on campus, I'm taking us back now. We got to go back in time to early 2000s, and people were ripping music offline, LimeWire, Napster, all those things. We were really, definitely stealing at the time, so it was not right. I'm not going to recommend it, but we were making CDs. I just became a music collector because I've always been in love with music. Anytime the new album would drop or the new CD would drop, I would always beg my mom to go to Circuit City back in the day to go get the CD or whatever record store was in New Orleans at the time. And so, as I continue to grow up and go into college, I was just collecting music and all the sounds and everything that just felt good. And people knew that I had music, and they would ask me to burn CDs for them, make them mix CDs and things like that. So when the time came when a group of our friends had a club called FAD, which is Fashion and Design.
Shout out to Nicole Kilby.
Shout
Hi,
out to Kilby. They asked me, hey, you got the music. Can you play our runway music? And that was my very first gig. So I was like, okay, I'm in charge of the vibe. Like, what? Like, I took it as a very sacred opportunity. So that was my very first gig. I didn't have any equipment. I was literally probably putting CDs inside of a disc changer in the dining hall, or wherever we had it that first time. But that was my very first unofficial gig. And then later on, a friend of mine, shout out to Noreen, she had some turntables in her apartment in Avery Glen, which is the student apartments for Agnes Scott. And that gave me the first look into the gear that is involved in actually being a DJ. And once I saw that, married it with the thought about playing music, it was I had to kind of continue to keep exploring. And so that's what really happened. I connected with one of my really good friends from Morehouse. Shout out to DJ Will B.
Yeah.
And he and I just started DJing together as a duo. We were doing Skate Town at the skate rinks off an old National Highway. And from then, it's just like you look back and you're like, dang, that many years have gone by, but like, it still feels fresh and new, and I it really is a passion of mine.
Now, I love to hear the journey, the fact that you were cultivating it before you even got to college, and then the opportunity met the passion, and you were able to pull that together. And now let's talk about why we are here, meaning DJing is really cool. It's always been a cool job, but for the most part, especially for minorities, for women, making it a full-time career and being able to live and eat off of it seemed probably foreign to a lot of us. So talk about your mental shift that you made to say, this is actually going to be my full-time gig, and I know the numbers to where I can survive off of this.
All right. So it has been a long journey. I'll tell you that. It was not an easy thing. It was something that was always in me to want to be a full-time DJ. But right after college, There was Hurricane Katrina. There was the recession of 2009. There were a lot of things that were happening economically in my community that prevented me from seeing and putting enough energy into DJing. So it was more so like, you got to get a job just to pay the bills right now and to survive. So I went to the option of going like a 9-to-5 type of route first. And I worked for a black woman owned at that government contracting firm. Shout out to Gears. It was Global Evaluation and Applied Research Solutions. It was owned by two sisters. Very small company, but very loving, like supportive company. They really
pause real quick. How did you get connected with them? Did you just? I don't even know if you went online and applied to jobs back when we came out of undergrad. Was that a thing? Because LinkedIn didn't exist. Like people had websites,
LinkedIn
but
didn't exist.
Not when we were in undergrad.
Oh my!
If it did, it was at the very baby stages, and it wasn't the vehicle that we were using the way it is now. Today. Yeah, but how did you get connected with that job in that firm?
Shout out to Agnes Scott. You know, like my Scotty sister, Courtney.
Okay.
Shout out to Courtney. She connected me to the founders of the organization.
Okay.
I was working in property management at the time for Agnes Scott, and she was actually slated to go to the interview, but then she got accepted to grad school. And so she sent me in place of...
Wow, look at that. Let me tell you something about the Scotty sisterhood.
Let me tell you.
It is real, okay? And it comes
serious.
Through.
It really does.
Because to foreshadow, Sed had that job for what, almost 15 years?
Yes.
Okay, so yes.
Yeah, no, seriously. That. And I mean, I went in there and I got the job and... I mean, I was there the whole time, and I was also, to be honest, being groomed to be the next person to take over the company.
Wow. Okay.
At one point or another, the president told me like she really wanted me to kind of step in and fill that role. Wow. Yeah.
So then connect it back to, I'm actually going to pivot from basically a succession plan where I already have my foot in the door to be a leader of a company and say, I'm going to jump out and be a DJ, which may have felt certain, may have not. Tell us about that financial decision.
Yeah. So, I mean, to go from something where like you have some sort of security, or you have a 401k attached to it, you have health benefits attached to it, and the whole time feeling like, there's something else that is just burning in me that I love doing on the weekends, and I'm still DJing the whole time I'm working. And so it just become a fun hobby that became a moneymaker, like a side hustle for me.
Okay.
But this whole time I'm working there, I also knew that I'm gaining traction in terms of like people knowing about me, people wanting me to come in and perform at their events and things like that. And so, obtaining gear and things like that as well too. I'm traveling on the weekends, so it just came to a point. I'll tell you this, in 2020.
Okay.
Everything shut down.
Yes.
DJing stopped. And I nearly almost had a nervous breakdown. Like, no lie. I was working from home because we were all virtual then, and there was no gigs to go to. And I'm grateful, so grateful I had that job to help, like, pave, just make sure that the ends were being met. Because I know some DJs had to go find work, who were full-time. But once I was like, once this is over, once this passes through, I gotta pursue myself, because if we're gonna go out, like, I might as well go out like doing something that I love, And so that's really what it was. It was just the fire that was in me. I was like, I can't do this. Like, I'll have to figure out a way to make it work to continue to do the work that I really love, because I'm not living in my truth. I'm not being authentic to what is in me, because this is not it. If this is my life and this is my career path, this is not it for me. So.
Okay. And let me hit the pause button for a second, because so in undergrad, right, like you knew that you had a passion for music. Did you have the wherewithal to say, let me pursue this path before, I get a mortgage or get real bills, or, like what was the difference between being younger and knowing that you had that passion versus 2020 hitting and saying, okay, I'm going to make the pivot?
I think being younger and knowing that you have a passion is one thing. And I think, okay, what I really admire about the current generation is I feel like they see what's the possibility. Like they see that people can make it without having to go a traditional route. And I think I had it's the millennial challenge. Like we're digital and analog. Like it's like we know there's a traditional pathway. And so we're like, okay, we're going to try to go that route, you know, but then there's also another tug at us say like, we don't have to go that route too. And so there's so many other options and ways to do it. So I think the younger me went the safer route versus like if I was the younger me today, I probably would go the route that I'm pursuing now. Faster. But did I answer the question correctly?
Well, no, that's helpful. Yes. In terms of, and I asked that because, you know, to your point, even if you wanted to pursue that route coming out of college, your family might have discouraged you. Your family would have questioned you versus having, you know, years of experience creating that foundation for yourself. And then you don't have to answer to as many people or opinions to say, I'm going to pop out and do this. This is what we're doing. So because as a career coach, I always get that question of like, should I just start a business, you know, right out of college or right out of high school, or should I go and get experience? And so I love to hear different people's experiences and decision points on how they, you know, went down that path. So, but my next question is, so in 2020, you made the decision. So tell us about the conversation that you had to say, thank you so much for the 15 years. Like what was that even like?
I had to get a therapist. No, I literally had to get a therapist because I knew how much that job had helped me grow into the business owner that I am, and that had become in terms of like thinking about like how to do things so that I could make the proper have the proper infrastructure to have a sustainable business. So I was, you know, basically in boot camp to be a CEO while I was in that job. And so, you know, it was very hard for me to cut ties because we had become much more than just coworkers. You know, and that's really difficult sometimes when you work in a place for so long and you care about the people that you work with. However, you still have to like make that transition. And so, it took me a little bit of time to kind of build up the strength and I literally had to write out a script, you know, so that I knew exactly what I wanted to say without getting too sidetracked or emotional or anything like that. But, you know, my former boss was like she was very gracious about it. I knew that I kind of slipped the rug from underneath her, but she was very gracious about it. It was like, I remember when I was your age, like, and when I wanted to start Gears, like, I was leaving a government job when my family was like, you about to leave a good government job for, you know, to go start something on your own. So that really helped to be able to have someone in that position to say like, you know, it doesn't feel good, but I wish you all the best because I understand.
And one thing I want to share with the audience, so in a pre-interview discussion, I asked Sed, I said, so did your boss know you were DJing? Because so many of us are popping out over here and then 9 to 5 on the laptop living the double lives. So I think the other thing is that you had a leadership who knew that you were DJing, who even you know, was flexible with your schedule to be able to do that. And so that wasn't a foreign concept for them to see you to transition to that full time because they knew it was part of your life for that 15 years
Absolutely.
as well.
I went and DJ'd their, you know, nieces' weddings and family functions and stuff too. So they were very supportive the whole time. I mean, when I started working with them, the nickname for me was DJ around the office. So, you know, very much so. So that was a good thing. I could really be myself and didn't have to be like, I'm doing something on the side. You know, the whole time.
So now let's talk about, did you put pen to paper before you went to them and said you wanted to pop out to say, all right, so my mortgage and then groceries and then car. So like what was that process?
Very good point, Jasmine. So I got also, besides a therapist, I got a financial planner.
Okay.
While I still had a check coming in.
Right.
Because his price was high.
Facts.
So I got to find, and he was also the person to kind of be like, you can do this. Like, if you do these things, these steps, like, you'll be good.
Okay.
Like, you just, you know, make sure you like, so one thing that I didn't know that you can do, which is a good tidbit for someone who is transitioning from like a 9 to 5 to their own thing is to utilize. I think it was we took some money out of my 401k. Like it's just like you're taking a loan out against your own.
Yes.
And that was very helpful to be able to like help float some things in the beginning when I was like I just didn't know exactly like how fast the gigs were going to come in and things like that because you really are like tossing the dice on a lot of things. So you're kind of figuring it out. So when things weren't coming as consistent in the beginning, taking that loan out against yourself out of your retirement was helpful.
Okay. And then what was the runway from the sitting down with the financial planner to do the numbers to actually getting your last paycheck? Like how long was that?
Yeah. So how long was that? I would say maybe a good 3 to 5 months. Probably.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's fairly short.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's really impressive. And then, so I want to transition to then asking. One of the questions we always love to ask this show is about good money decisions and bad money decisions, right? So you did have the wherewithal to get a financial planner to say, if I'm going to move in this direction in a field where, and let me ask you, do you feel like DJing was a predictable, steady field, or did you feel like it was not? Because some people would say, look, I had gigs every single weekend for 15 years. It's predictable. It's steady.
I know. For those DJs who have residency, shout out to them. I love the fact that they can have a predictable schedule.
Yep.
I am not that girl. Like, I like to shake it up, baby. Like, residencies, even DJing at the skating rink every Friday was wonderful. But, like, I needed more. Like I needed some variety.
Yeah.
And so no, I'm living on the edge. So I'm literally I don't have that many like residencies. I have places that I go to like maybe once a month or things like that. But like residencies like on a weekly basis, like I don't have anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are some DJs who can have some consistent stuff like that, but I am not that person.
Got it. Okay. So let's start first with a good money decision that you would say that you made so far in your life.
Okay. So a good money decision that I made was while the market was pretty interesting at the time, I bought a house in 2009.
Okay.
So, and it was great because when I did that, I had a job, I had the right credit, everything was there to secure it. I don't know now, like most people when they see that you're self-employed, you have to jump through so many hoops.
Yes. You need 2 to 3 years of 1099s.
There you go. There you go.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. To be able to get loans and things like that.
Yeah.
So, I just bought my grandmother's house, which was great. So, I went through that process. I was like, man, I didn't have to go through all of this when I got my house. But when I got my own house here in Atlanta. But I'm just saying that was probably the best decision because now I have a place to stay. The rent is not going to. Well, the rent, the mortgage is not going to go up on on me like so many percentage, and people can kick me out if they wanted to because there's a new owner coming in and things like that. So I feel secure, with that. Like that was a really good decision, and luckily, the market has gone up too, so there's some value there in the home as well. So if I ever did need to pull out of the home or anything like that, I could.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and then what's a I'll say proverbial bad money decision that you feel like you've made?
So we talked about this too offline, but like while I very much so, and this is, I would say is a little controversial, but some people, but while I very much so love the fact that I went to college and that I studied and got the 4-year degree at Agnes Scott, one of the best schools out there in the country. Yes.
Raise the roof. You know how old I am. I'm raising the roof.
Right. Raise the roof.
These kids would be like, what is that?
Arsenio Hall joints. College is so expensive. Student loans are so expensive. I still have student loans to this very day. So if you're able to not have to take on so many educational loans, it's unfortunate that we even have that as a thing here in the U.S. But I just think like that's an unnecessary expense that's just still there all these years later.
No, I agree. And even within the last couple of years of the different administrations talking about forgiveness, and it's just been such a roller coaster ride, and it really does. I would say erode some people, depending on their money making abilities, erode their ability to build wealth, because they have so much money going towards the loans. So
absolutely,
I understand that.
It's astronomical now. Like what we were dealing with in terms of tuition costs, it's not even close. That's like 1 year for versus like all the 4 years that in terms of the amount of debt that students are up against right now. So I don't know. I mean, I love the fact that I have met so many wonderful individuals and got the cultural awareness and things like that from school. College is very important. I feel like it is an important place for young people to go and to find themselves. So, essentially, but and to get some knowledge as well too. But just the price that's attached to it just doesn't make sense.
No, that's valid. I agree. And, I shared with you, and I'll share with the folks out there, as a career coach, I keep my finger on the pulse. And this generation, the most recent generation, is doing a lot of going to get a trade instead of going to college, because they're foregoing the $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 price tag, and they can come out of high school and become a welder or electrician and start making money immediately. And these are jobs that are needed now.
Very much so. Recession proof.
That's
jobs.
True. Recession proof. Yep. Yeah.
Yep. And they're going to YouTube University and learning something there too. So.
Well, I don't want my electrician learning off of YouTube, but exactly. They can supplement their training from that. But you can't get shocked on YouTube.
No, you're right.
So I'm going to need for you to actually be in the wires so you know what's going on. Okay, so now let's talk about fair pay and negotiation experiences. So you are a Black, female, queer DJ.
Yes.
So I say that from the standpoint of, to me, you're blazing trails. But that also means that the fair pay may not be front and center, because for so many people who just aren't, cis white straight men, let's be clear, they're underpaid. So Sed, what I'm really interested to learn is, how do you even figure out what is your fair pay as a DJ? I mean, I'm sure it ranges. It's not on LinkedIn like, an accountant for, a corporation would be. How do you find out what the fair pay is for your work?
Yeah. Well, that's a really good question. I think when we first started, we didn't have any mentors in the space. So we made a lot of mistakes, including like how we priced ourselves and what we put value on. So I think nowadays I see how much is involved and how much time I put into preparing for events and things like that. So, there's really, like you said, there's really no place like chat. You can ask ChatGPT; it'll give you some random answer. Like you'll still be like, I still don't know. You didn't really answer my question. But I think it's based on experience, and also just really like talking to your clients, finding out what the expectation is, and then also talking to, like, having a network, talking to other DJs and being like, okay, what is this a good price? Like, because sometimes people may feel a little shy about sharing their actual rates with you, but if you express to them like, hey, it's this particular event, I'm thinking about charging this. What, would you be in this range, or what do you think? Like people who you feel like are maybe not like, on the same experience level, but maybe like 2 steps ahead of you.
Yes.
Perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah. So that way you can see where you need to go in terms of like your range.
Okay. And I just want to pause there, because that tip that you gave is so important. So for the folks out there, what she said aligns with what I tell my clients in terms of, it's hard to ask someone, well, how much do you make for this? They don't necessarily want to share their own coins.
Right.
But if you go to someone and you say, this is a position, and this isn't just for DJing, this is for, any role where the person is in that industry or in that field, you can say, how much should I expect to get for this type of work, this type of position? What have you seen in the market?
Yes.
And then people can talk to you more about what they've seen, what they've known versus their personal money that they're bringing in the door. So I think that's an amazing tip.
Yeah.
And then also I like that you said the people that you're talking to, finding the mentors and finding people a couple steps ahead.
Yes.
Then there's a less, competition, jealousy about the gigs and what you're getting paid and all those things too. So that's why mentoring is really important.
For real. And then there have been some clients that have surprised me. Like, they'll come back and say, well, our budget is this. I'm like, I didn't even think that you would pay that, for this type of gig. But, so I think it'll also help, just asking your clients too, like, what is the expectation here in terms of budget as well too.
And pause. So as an entrepreneur and a business owner, that's actually rule number one, is you always ask your client, well, what is your budget? Because to your point, you could definitely lowball yourself.
Facts.
Right?
Yep.
Just assuming what they would pay or you not knowing what it costs. So asking what is your budget is important. And even if what you cost is way out of their budget, then you're also setting the standard of like, well, I'm here.
Yes.
Maybe we can figure something out versus like, again, lowballing yourself. So I think that's a great question
too. That's a great tip there. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So tell us about how you found out if you were underpaid at a gig, or has that happened to you? What was that experience?
Unfortunately, it has happened to me, and it's hard in this industry to know that you've been underpaid unless you have somebody on the inside to kind of be like, come talk to me on the side.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
So, and I did. In one instance, I had a lady who was involved in like doing the payroll for a multi-op DJ company, production company. It was really more a production company. And I was one of two females on the team that were DJs. And she just kind of pulled me aside and told me like, hey, like, I don't know what's the difference between you and these other guys, but you and her are not making the same amount that they are. And it was a boys' club. It was ran by the men, and the men were running majority like the meetings and the conversations and negotiations and things like that. And so when the time came around for them to connect with me again, I mentioned like, hey, like I've been working with y'all for quite some time. Like I think this is a good rate for me this time around. And they unfortunately they unfortunately did not want to meet that. So we had to part ways. But, at the end of the day, I feel like it was for the best, because when you're in those situations where you don't feel like you're getting paid, like just to be able to say, okay, well, I guess I'll just stick with it. You're going to end up with resentment. At least I will. I know I will. And I don't want to have that kind of energy when I'm working with somebody. So I'd much rather be like, okay, that's cool. Like, thank you for your time. This has been great, like working with you up until this point, and we can keep moving from there. But I would never want to have energy with someone that it doesn't feel right. So truthfully, that was the first time. But you just don't know, unless someone pulls you aside and says, hey, like these are the rates that other people are getting, in this particular industry. I don't know about any other industries like that may be similar like that. But
well, and there's a couple of things that I'll say about that. The first thing is that the name of the show is F You Pay Me. And this is a moment where Sed didn't have to say it to someone's face, but she made the decision of, I asked you I told you what my rate is. Please comply. Oh, you don't. Nicely, F You Pay Me. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out.
So I can respect that. And so one of the things that I want to call out there is, unfortunately, for some people, they can't say F You Pay Me. They still have to stay in the role. They still have to stay in the job because they have kids. They got to pay bills, whatever it might be.
Good point.
And so figuring out the path to being able to say F You Pay Me is important. So, I encourage folks out there, it doesn't always have to be F You Pay Me, kick the table over and walk out the door. It can be a F You Pay Me. It may not work out the way you want it, but let's, call a career coach, find a mentor, and say, all right, so what is the path to get me to the dollar amount that I deserve?
I like that. Yeah. I do like that in terms of being able to like say, okay, what if it's not that, then how can I get there? Like if you don't feel like, we're not aligned in terms of our ideas around the work that I'm doing within the organization. How can I get there with you? So that's a better partnered way of going about it too.
Yeah, but in the name of the show is If You Pay Me, because
right.
as a Black woman, queer like we tired.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we've been nice long enough. We Black women, at least in corporate America, make 68 cents. I think it used to be 64 cents. 68 cents on the white man's dollar for doing the same work. Wow. And so at this point, it's like you said, having that frank conversation and being like, look, this is the rate. What are we doing? So nice. I commend you for that.
Thank you.
And so my next question is, after you got the balls to say, all right, well, I guess we have to part ways. This isn't the right gig. What did that tell you about your relationship with money? Like, what is your relationship with money, and how has it evolved?
And you know what's so interesting? I had that conversation with them while I still had a regular full-time job.
Okay.
But you know what? Looking back, I would have still been like deuces. Even more now, because my time is so valuable at this point. You know, being a full-time DJ and a full-time CEO of a startup, a good friend of mine, also another Scotty, told me, shout out to Tish Cotto, she was like, anytime you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. And so if I'm giving my value and I'm giving my time to you and I'm investing my energy into your event and I'm all in, because that's the kind of DJ I am. Like, I'm not going to just show up and be like, I think I'll play this. I think, like, I've already thought about things.
Yes.
I've already been very intentional about things. So if I'm saying yes to you, I'm giving you my all. And so I'm literally saying no to something else, one of my own projects or one of my own other, personal things that I'm doing. And so it's so much tied to it now when I'm saying yes or when I'm saying no. Versus back then. Yeah. Back then I was just like, I got a job. Like, I don't need you. Like, I'm still gonna eat,
That reminds me of Everybody Hates Chris when Rochelle, the mom, said, I don't need this. My man got 2 jobs. She would quit a job every other month. Okay, so your relationship with money, what is that and how has it evolved?
So I have always been somebody who just like, I'm living life.
Okay.
Yes. And so
you're a creative.
That makes sense. Yes. And so it's all about experience and, just having a good time. But so I'll say this, when I had a full-time job, I was not being as fiscally conservative.
Okay.
I wasn't really saving. I wasn't really doing the things that, my grandmother would want me to do at the time. She's one of the most financially responsible person I have known my entire time. My grandmother was on it, kept a checkbook balance and everything.
Yes.
And she didn't even use online banking or anything like that. She would be like, "Can you go and check what it is? Because I just want to make sure it looks the same." But I think if I had taken her words back then, I wouldn't have even probably used the 401k when I decided to transition.
Okay.
However, now that I'm a business owner, now that everything rides on it, my relationship with money is much closer.
Okay.
I'm checking the accounts every day.
Yeah.
I'm looking to see how and other ways that I can make my money grow for myself. And also, looking at retirement as well too. Like what's the next chapter going to look like? I still am I'm a very woo-woo person when it comes to money. Like, money is energy, and so I look at it as an exchange. So I love being able to that's one of the things I love about StageWing is StageWing is a platform where we get to pay people, and so being able to put money in someone's pocket is one of my favorite things to do. And so being able to have money and exchange money like that is just, I don't know. It's just it's a flow of energy that I feel just it's good energy as long as you have the intention that it's you're doing the right thing with it. So I think that's what my relationship is. It's kind of it's a bit of a spiritual thing, but it's also a bit of now I'm being much more closer to it. Before I was just kind of it is what it is. Just letting it go.
I'll blow it and make it all back tomorrow.
Exactly.
The words a little late.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that helps. And did you have to make any mindset shifts I guess maybe becoming a business owner, but was there like a shift from just general one, scarcity to abundance, or like anything for you?
Yes, man, so good question, so good. And I mean, another shout out to another Scotty, like Bevan Morgan. She is a financial planner as well too, and I met her after I decided to go full time as a DJ, and she does a course around money management and mindset.
Okay.
And she and I kind of sat down and talked about it. Like, what are your thoughts around it? Like, do you have this theory of like, if you have money, do you feel bad about having money? Because there's some people, and I think I had this, like, having too much money and you're kind of like, oh, do I deserve this? Like, do I deserve to be able to slide this number to my client and say, this is what I'm worth? And those are the things that you have to change your mindset around. Like, like, I do deserve this. I deserve the abundance. I deserve this amount. I put the work in. I have the amount of years. I have the amount of experience. I have the amount of passion for this. And then the artist, I DJ with an artist. Her name is Tony Jones, and she has a song around like money as well too. It's a dope song.
Okay.
I'll have to share it with you so you can share it with your listeners. But yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And then I'm just gonna grab my last question for you. So tell us just a little bit about advice out there to people either aspiring to be a DJ or folks who are DJs. Like, what's your advice around negotiating your worth in this field, in this industry?
What is my advice around negotiating my worth? And I'll say this, I am still working through like how to show value beyond just like being like, I'm the shit. Like, like, but being able to, for someone who doesn't know you, for someone who you have to kind of present yourself and introduce yourself to them. Like a lot of corporate clients, like for instance, Netflix called last year and was like, hey, we're looking at hiring you to do this event with us in Atlanta. It's between you and another DJ. Like, can you provide us with like mixes and things like that? And I'm like, I got some mixes already out there. It's like 12 years old, but stuff out there. But, being able to, like, they don't know you. Like, you need to be able to show, like, what is the Sed experience versus going with someone else. And so I think when I'm still evolving and changing it, but I think when I'm trying to negotiate with people, I just let them know, like, okay, these are the things that I do. These are the things that I bring to it. These are the things the experience that I have. These are the clients that I worked with before. You can talk with them. Like, being able to just show the value. Like, I'm going to be there every step of the way in terms of making sure that this is going to be the best experience for your attendees and whoever else is going to be in the room. But also that I'm an artist, so like I know how my creativity. It's kind of hard to put a value on art, like, because it's subjective. Yeah. Like there's people who draw a red circle and say $20,000, like, but, so, a part of you as an artist as well, like there's a service side of DJing and then there's an art side of DJing. And so it's very hard to quantify like what your worth is, but it's like, okay, this is what I feel like makes sense for me to be able to take some time and to put energy into to this event. So I don't know if that really gives like a full view of...
Well, it does, but then the follow-up question is, so then when they come with a number that you don't agree with, then how do you approach that?
I just did that like the other day.
Okay.
Yeah. I basically told them, like, because they came to me and they said, well, this is a good standard rate for this time frame of the day, and you'll still have time to go and do other things. And I'm like, and like, I know what I bring. I know the value that I have, and I know what I would have to do to prepare for this. So regardless of the time of day and what else I got going on, but you don't know what else I got going on. I'm like I said, I'm saying yes to your event, so I'm saying no to something else. Yep. So truthfully, when I see something and I know, like, I have a standard base rate in my head usually, and I'm like, I know I don't want to go outside of my house beyond this or below this, or it doesn't make sense for me to add this on to expend my energy, because rest is also a part of what we were talking about earlier. rest is so important as an entrepreneur, like, because you can burn yourself easily chasing $500 here, $1,000 here, whatever. So, like, don't allow someone to be like, this is a good rate, but it energetically, like, I'm going to be tired as hell. Or, so there's a lot of things that come into play when I'm trying to think of it, but I do always have, like, a certain threshold that I'm like, I know, like, I'm going to be doing 3 events that day. I'm not doing this for that amount of money.
Yeah. Yeah. And to your point, part of that was you doing it for so long and just getting that experience. And then That's you also creating that foundation. So I'd love to pivot to your life as a tech founder.
Yeah.
On top of your life as a DJ.
We haven't even touched that yet. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about Stage Wing. So tell us how the idea came about, and then what was the investment capital, the startup capital to get it going?
All right. So Stage Wing came about. I was DJing a wedding in Chicago for one of my really good friends. First time out there. And I flew with my equipment. They were going to have the speakers there, but I was just flying with my DJ controller, which is, same thing as like a 2 turntable type of situation. When I got to the hotel, I noticed that TSA had a note in there. It said, hey, we went through your things. Just wanted to check. We did an inspection. Wanted to make sure everything was cool. I was like, okay, maybe they thought it was like some kind of weapon or something. I went to go plug it in, and I noticed that it was damaged. So the way that they repacked everything after inspecting, I know. So much anxiety, sweat.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, and the wedding was the very next day.
Oh, my gosh.
I literally got in the day before the event. So I'm calling around like, hey, like, calling friends. Like, do y'all know anybody out here who could help me out? And I'm calling, like, friends were like, go try Amazon. But Amazon wasn't doing, like, same day type stuff anymore. And so there was no, like, Radio Shacks or Circuit Cities or Best Buys that would have the same kind of item that I was looking for. And so luckily, because we're in Chicago, Music City.
Okay.
They had a mom and pop shop, not even like a big brand, but a mom and pop shop that had like DJ gear. So random, but so needed.
Yes.
So I went over there, hopped, got a taxi, and got what I needed.
Okay.
And was able to do it.
And usually mom and pop shops are open from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So the fact that you can get in there.
God was on my side.
We're open. Oh, my God.
For real. I mean, like, I'm just thinking, I was like, if I was in Atlanta, I had people. I had people who could come to my rescue.
Yep.
And I'm like, so what do people do? So when I got back, I called some friends and I was like, okay, what do you normally do in this situation? Not knowing that that's the first step when you're when you're starting a business, you do customer discovery. And that's exactly what they tell you to do, is talk to people. Find out how they're solving the problem that you're looking to solve. And I didn't think I was having a business idea. I actually thought I was going to come up with something. Once I finished talking to people, I thought I was going to come up with something to just be able to, like, weigh your bag so that you could just ship it ahead of time.
Okay.
But no, like, some people were sending their equipment on trains ahead of them. Like, some people were shipping it out. It was just some weird stuff that was happening. Yeah. Everybody had different answers. Okay. It was nothing consistent. Or like, I have somebody out there. Like, I have a homeboy, a homegirl.
Yeah. Okay.
So, it kind of dwindled down into, like, hey, like, you can get a pizza. You can get a car now. You can get anything online.
Right.
Why can't you order something online as easy? And not to say that there's not companies already out there where you can order things from, but it's not easy. Like, usually you have to go out there, fill out a request form, wait a couple of days for them to respond. It's not a, like, immediate process. Especially when the wedding is the next day type of situation. So that's how Stage Wing came about. I was just like, I was looking for a way to have a community of people who could trust each other to deliver for each other. So if I'm looking for equipment, I have a homeboy over here who can help me out. I have a wingman, a wingwoman. So Stage Wing became the
amazing
the business idea.
Yeah, and I just want to call out to the audience, as you talked about this idea, I think what is really cool about this day and age is that you don't have to own all the inventory for the business idea. Just like the Uber and the Airbnb, you don't have to have it. So, of course, you might have some inventory, but it's not like you're like, I have to have a whole warehouse of 200 turntables that people can rent. And, like you're just serving as the connection point for assets that people already have. And that's an amazing idea.
Thank you.
So, tell us about the startup capital.
Okay, yeah. So, I was still working my regular 9-to-5 job. So I was my first investor. I was bootstrapping it. Okay. The terminology used in the startup world.
Yep.
I was bootstrapping the company. So I was putting my own capital into it. I was using my own personal credit cards to pay for, fees and attorney's costs and things like that. The website, the development costs, because I'm not a coder at all. And at the time, I had a co-founder as well, too. But the co-founder, in terms of his contribution, could only be sweat. So it was really all on me at the time as well, too.
And just to clarify, that means sweat equity?
Yes.
So
sweat
no capital, but the idea is the effort, etc.
Yeah, exactly. So I became my first investor. Then one of my really good friends, shout out to her, she's another DJ in the industry, also artist as well too. She gave us our first investment as well too. Wow. So she wrote a check for us as well. She was like, I believe in you. I believe in the ideas. So shout out to DJ D. Lachey. So she gave us some money, and then some other friends and family gave us a little bit of cash here and there. And I'm saying even $5 was very helpful. Yeah. So that's how we got started. And then fast forward, just joining a couple of different accelerator programs and things like that, we were able to get some capital in. We did Street Code Academy. We won a pitch competition with them. They're out in the Bay Area. And then also, most recently, very excited to say that we just completed with Techstars, which is like one of the largest accelerator programs that give capital to startups. And it's very selective. And we were so grateful to be able to be a part of that program. So they were able to write us a check too and give us some mentorship as well.
And how long has your business been up and running now? Stage one?
So unofficially, that wedding happened in 2017.
Okay.
I think I started with the idea in 2018.
Okay.
And so we've been going from there. Since 2018, but officially 2020 was the first year we decided to get a bank account and get the LLC at the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And tell me about any negotiation experiences that you've had as a tech startup owner, meaning not just financially, but with building your team or partnerships. Have there been moments where you needed something or wanted something, somebody said, I can give you this, and it didn't initially meet what you wanted. You had to talk it out or massage it?
Yeah. Now, the startup world is different. I feel like there haven't been too many points where I've had to negotiate. I had to negotiate with, providers of equipment to say, hey, these are the rates that we would typically see in this area. Yep. And, I know that, you really feel very strongly about your equipment, but these are the rates that we're seeing.
Yeah.
So there have been moments like that. But, in terms of, working and negotiating with, developers, I think that is the part where we're still working that out. To be able to, because here's the thing. Things are changing rapidly in the development world.
Yes.
And I'm not exactly sure what the stats are, but a lot of AI technology is taking over a lot of the coders, the coding jobs, essentially. So AI is writing code already, and lay people like myself can go onto those platforms and just say, hey, I need you to build me a website. Now, it's not going to look like what a human probably could do, but there's a lot of areas where you're knowing the code is there.
Okay.
But also, you just don't know someone's experience level until you actually get them into the hot seat.
Correct.
And so it's hard to negotiate with someone and say, well, I would like to pay you this versus this until you really see, the value that they can bring. So I think in those instances, you just kind of have to just test it out. And a lot of, you'll probably hear a lot of founders say, hire slow and fire fast.
Yes.
So in those instances, yeah, we've had to have some people who joined us, and then we've known them like after 3 months, they're like, this is not gonna work. And so yeah, being able to like part ways really quickly so that you don't waste time.
Sed, I would love to hear, as a tech founder, like, what advice do you have for people out there? It's hard. You know, you've talked about, what is it, hire slow, fire fast, and you know, figuring out that path. Like, what would you tell somebody out there who's thinking about it?
I would say make sure you really you're obsessed with solving the problem that you're set to solve, because this is not easy at all. Like, having a DJ business and I'm only responsible for myself is one thing. But having a tech startup that you have so many players involved, you know, that if you bring on investors, you know, then you have to answer to your investors. If you have stakeholders, if you have people who are on your platform, you're beholden to them. If you have customers on the other side, you're beholden to them, you know. So really make sure that you're obsessed with wanting to solve this problem, because that is going to be the fire that keeps this going for you. Because it's not, most startups fail within the first 3 years. And we have lasted this long just because I have the fire underneath my butt. Because we could have been like out like as soon as we saw the bill for the second version of our website, you know. It's like, no, I'm good. Y'all figure it out. You know? But no, seriously, I have the fire in me to really want to solve this problem. I have the fire in me to really want to see this all the way through. I see the impact that we're making on our customers' lives and also on the providers' lives. Like we're actually providing another revenue track for people. You know, we're really putting people in positions where if they've already made an investment in some equipment, you know, that they can continuously make money on that. So yeah, I think have the fire underneath you, hire slow, fire fast.
Yep, okay.
And also take your time when you're making like big financial decisions too. There have been plenty of times where I felt like I'm a Scorpio, and so, you know, like being able to be like, oh yeah, I'm all in, like just go for it. Like I think sometimes I have to be like, okay, is this really right? Like let me talk to a mentor about this.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So have a mentor. That's probably the big takeaway.
Well, and how would you recommend for people to find a mentor? Because everybody's like, yeah, get a mentor. And everybody's like, I don't know how. I messaged 10 people on LinkedIn and nobody responded, right? So like, what was your personal journey to finding mentors?
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest going through LinkedIn at all. Because LinkedIn is now become like, I don't know if you've noticed it, Jasmine, but like, there's so many people selling you something or trying to get you to be a part of their programs and things like that. So I would start with like what helped us. We applied for pre-accelerated programs, and that got us into like Atlanta Tech Village.
Okay.
And then we had mentors there, and they have they actually have Fridays. Every Friday they bring in mentors to come in and on any topic, and you can go and meet with them. There's so many pre-accelerated programs out there. Black Ambition has a program. I've also been a part of that. So like I've collected literally mentors along the way in this journey. You know, we've got mentors with Techstars and Street Code. And so all the different programs that I've been a part of, we've been able to like get that. So I think that's the best way, because there's people literally who've signed up and said, I will give my time to support a startup founder. Yeah. And especially, I looked for the programs that were looking for founders who were Black, brown, queer, women, all of that. So that's how you know they're locked in. Yes. And they want to help.
Yes. And
they don't want to sell you anything.
Right. Yeah, that trade-off is ridiculous. The spamming is ridiculous. Yeah. So no, that is really helpful, because also what I hear you saying is you have to do your homework. You can't just be like, well, I found a program, I guess I'll show up. And there's a different level of having a dog in the fight. Yes. You know, when you do your research, when you find programs that are also invested. So my last question is, again, being part of communities that have always been historically marginalized. How do you find the courage to negotiate and demand your worth? Because it's scary. And as an entrepreneur, as someone who you eat what you kill, sometimes you feel the pressure to just say, okay, fine, like, give it to me. So how do you find the courage to demand your worth?
I think you find the courage in doing your own self-work. Like, you have to really check in with yourself to really understand, like, hey, like, look at your receipts, like, keep like a gratitude journal, or look at like all the things that you've done, and like really tap into the fact, like, I'm doing the work. Like, and so it builds your confidence, and it really helps you to see, like, you're not just, and how people talk about imposter syndrome and things like that, and it can creep in. It definitely can creep in, but like having something tangible that you keep up with to kind of help you see, like, my journey is valuable, and I've been all of these places, or I've only been on this particular track, but it has some value to it. And so, like, that'll help give you the confidence to be able to say, like,
F you pay me.
F you pay me. Period. That's mic drop on that one. Like, seriously.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay. Well, thank you to all the folks out there watching. Thank you to Sed.
Thank you.
This has been an amazing conversation. Stay tuned for more episodes of F You Pay Me.